Gently open your eyes. So last class we had almost finished Khechari. Few last shlokas, like from 52 to 53, we were supposed to just read it out and make it very clear from 51. So today, no, we stopped at 46, 47. Yeah. Yes, Gomasa Bhakshana is what we did last class in the last part. Yes.
Sahir bhai, we had Khichdi and we had gone on to
we
Udyan Bandh.
have
Yeah.
we have gone
Isn't
to
it
Udyan
right?
Bandh.
Yeah.
So this is the problem when you are taking the class in 2-3 classes that you do not realize where you stopped. So now I should, as you suggested, I should write down a marking over there. Samatvam we did finished here. So here, so Moola Bandha is what not we had started, but in fact we had been with Udyan Bandha.
Right.
Yeah. So if I am reciting this 56th shloka, which says Udare Pashimam Tanam Nabe Urdhvam Chakarayet Udiyano Hyaso Bandho Mrityu Matang Kesari. As we take abdominal region to the back of our body and raise it up to the level above the navel, this is Udiyana Bandha, which is like a line to the elephantine death, or you can say elephant death. Now, these two words which we discussed last class also, one is lion and the other one is elephant. Udyan Bandha is termed as lion and death is termed as elephant. Death is understood as heaviness and lion is depicted by courageousness, putting in efforts to overcome and go beyond. So here, Udyan Bandh is like the very similar practice which takes you away from that heaviness, that lethargicness, from the, it will take you beyond the cycle, even birth and death, as he makes it in the next shloka. So here, Mrityu Matanga Kesari, the death which is keeping us involved into the experience of various janma, we will be able to divide ourselves of this kind of cycle and make ourselves one with our own self. So here, the of simple, take your breath out, pulling the tummy towards the back and trying to release it to the chest. In fact, a study was done and it was found that when you do such kind of action as you exhale out and pull the tummy in to raise it up, it was seen that a Moola Bandha was automatically happening, and along with Jalandhar Bandha, which was also almost 60 to 70% in the happening. Udyan Bandha independently practiced does brings about this kind of effect on our body. If you see the next 57th one, it says, Udyanam tu sahajam gurunam katitam yatha abhyaset satatam yastu vriddho api prannayate. As I was telling you in the last class also, okay, this is where we feel that even the uh, old feels young. Now, this is somewhere can be misguided, as we were talking about. So here, the thing is that internally, you will become strong mentally as well as physically to get on course with your spiritual approach and go ahead on the path of Hatha Yoga. But many of us try to depict, not many of us in the sense people who do not understand this language of making ourselves understand, they treat Udyan Bandh to make themselves potentially strong with physical abilities. Now, maybe that is coming to you as a blessing, but at the same time, that is not the intention, that is not the approach of Uddiyana Bandha. Even if an old person practices Uddiyana as a matter of daily routine practice, as prescribed by the gurus, he or she will become young. When we say he or she will become young, not younger by days or anything like that, but the thing is that their life will become prolonged. The aging process will somewhere get delayed, and that is how we can understand these lines. In the next one, it is Nabhe Urdhvam Adash Api Tanam Kuryat Prayatnatah Kshanmas Abhyaset Mrutyum Jayatyeva Samshaya. This was what I was talking about. He should, with effort, you pull your stomach towards the back, the parts above and the below the navel region is pulled up because of this practice. And when you are practicing Udyan Bandh for 6 months, verily one will conquer death, or you can say the premature death that we usually have. Now, what is premature death? And the kind of lifestyle we live now, we all are lucky here to hear each other. In the morning, when we were having that discussion of God, and I was just thinking, yes, we should really have some discussion on God, or at least have that name of the God in the mind and reflect, so that that discussion within ourselves starts beginning to happen. It's like the inner quest for us to go deeper into the understanding of spirituality, isn't it? So, friend, when we are taking this decision or we are trying to make a sankalp like this, we are going away from something where our mind was distracted, deviated, disturbed, and delusionized. We were completely misled. But now, when we are on this track, we discuss, we share, and nothing of that wrong thoughts or bad thoughts come to our mind. If we may not be going, or we may not be successful on this true path of spirituality, but still we are on it, and we are not on the other path, which may be taking us more deeper into some wrong things or bad things. And maybe we will be thinking more about doing wrong than being spiritual. So I consider myself lucky. We all should consider ourselves lucky to be on this path. At least if successful on this path, at least I am on this path so that my mind is engaged into something where I am not able to distract or deviate myself. As once Asha madam had told, I have screwed it into my mind very nicely. If you cannot do anything good, just be with good. and keep on trying to do good, but at least you are saved from doing many things which are wrong and bad. So beautiful change happening to every individual if you are trying to be on the path of spirituality. Keep doing whatever good you can. And here, practice of Udyanban is like one of the good things to happen to you. Because let me tell you one thing. This is with research being proved, as I can make it very clear with you all. When a person is practicing Uddiyana Bandha with his breath held out, on the whole, as you pull your navel region or below the navel region back and up, there is a kind of negative pressure which is created in your chest, helping you to pull it up. And at that time, believe me, friends, there will be any other thought coming to your mind, but you will be in that intention of retaining that position and maintaining that beautiful state. In fact, your thoughts ceases to exist at that point of time of Uddiyana Bandha. The more you prolong the practice of Uddiyana Bandha, that long you will find that you are not allowing your mind to go stray or get involved with something else. Just imagine today being Sunday and Sabir Bhai practicing Uddiyana early morning. Will he think about how to spend this Sunday today? Will he think about going to the market and having with sabji? Because he doesn't eat much. ये तो अच्छा है साबिर भाई की बेगम वो जानती है कि भैया ये तो खाने वाला नहीं है, तो इसके लिए कुछ बनाओ, इसका बर्तन अलग, इसके खाने का तरीका अलग, इसका सब कुछ अलग. घर में मेरे चारों बच्चे खाते हैं, बट सिंस चाइल्डहुड आई एम नॉट ईटिंग. Even before coming into yoga, since long, I am not eating it. And everything, every care is taken for that. Though we sit all together and they eat non-veg, but I am eating my sabji, roti and dal, chawal. So sometimes I wonder okay, how being this is getting into. So in spite of being in all things which you do want to do or get into, you will find that if you are dedicated to your practice, the values imbibed, you will be excelling in what you are doing. And Udyan will certainly make you, that way, a very restrained practitioner, or I should say, there will be a very good control on your senses if this is happening. And to be very frank with you all, friends, if you would have seen Sabir 20 years back, you would have said, ये इंसान कभी जिंदगी में योगी नहीं बन सकता, ये इंसान जिंदगी में कभी योग में नहीं आ सकता, ऐसा इंसान योग से बहुत दूर रहता है. But when I see myself today, I wonder whether I was existing like that 20 years back. So comparing these things, I can always tell you that yogic practices do bring those changes in every other personality. And Uddiyana is one of them which makes you that kind of person. So there he says, yes, sir. Sir, you are still mute. Now you are unmuted.
Sir, you have taught us Udyan Bandh as a part of Anulom Vilom. Is it to be practiced along with some other practice, or it can be practiced standalone by itself?
By itself. The one which we are doing in pranayam, that is Antar Kumbhaka. That means we are retaining the breath in and doing the practice of Uddiyana. But here, the one which has been explained by Swatmaramji, you have to exhale out. That means you have to retain the breath out and then perform the sucking of your abdomen in. So we will do that. We have not yet started doing it, but we will do that. In fact,
my question is, sir, so it means this can be practiced as Bandha only. It doesn't have to be with anything else.
No, not at all. This can be exclusively practiced as a individual practice. And if I tell you the steps, very simple steps, you are going for exhalation, inhale nicely, and exhale out completely as if you are emptying your lungs. Though the lungs won't be totally emptied, but you have a feeling of exhaling as far as possible and retaining the breath out. The moment you hold the breath out, you have to relax the abdomen and just expand your chest. Now imagine no air in your lungs. And as you expand the chest, so the volume of the chest as it increases, the pressure inside the lungs is like vacuum creation negative pressure. The lungs which are inflated like this, when the airs are filled in, they will get squeezed like this because of the volume increasing of the rib cage. And as the lungs are shrinking and going like this, the diaphragm is pulled up. When the diaphragm is pulled up, the abdomen goes in and up. आशुतोष भाई, बचपन में वो जब हमारा फुग्गा यानी बलून फूट जाता था, तो हम क्या करते थे, वो बलून के अंदर ना ऐसी उंगली रखते थे और उंगली रखकर ऐसे मुंह में लेके जाते थे, ले जाकर उसको ऐसे ऐसे करके खींचते थे। तो खींचते ही जब ऐसे पकड़ के उसको बाहर निकालते, तो वी यूज्ड टू सी द एयर फिल्ड इन दैट latex rubber of the balloon. Have you experienced that ever before in your childhood? Now, when you say that, what has made that latex rubber piece to get filled with the air? It is the external pressure of your mouth, which when was sucking in, the air was getting filled into it, automatically inflating it. So as you hold it and bring it out, you will see it getting ballooned. It is not that you have blown the air into it. Now that suction made that latex rubber to become ballooned. Now here see, the same experience can be had on our body itself. When expand the chest by keeping it empty and exhaled out air, this expansion of the chest automatically pull the organs of your abdomen up, above, and back. And this is not only for the organs or the abdominal wall. Just imagine the circulation of the blood through the arteries, circulation of the blood through the veins. The venous blood to the heart will certainly improve. And the arteries, they will be like pulled back. And then the moment you release the Udian, flow is released. And the gush of the blood through the arteries will be reaching with a renewed force to the nook and corner of the body. So that helps for the blood circulation in that region where it was not happening properly. That is the reason that a person will feel with the renewed vigor, vitality, or life in himself. Why? Because the oxygenated blood is reaching to every cell in the body, earlier which it might be deprived of various other reasons. So here Udian is like that. मैं और एक एग्जांपल देता हूं। साबिर भाई ने तो कभी किया नहीं है, लेकिन मैडम को अपनी करते हुए देखा जरूर है किचन के अंदर। वो किचन का जो सिंक है ना, आप तो किचन का सिंक कभी कभी कूड़े से जम जाता है, लॉक हो जाता है, तो वो एक सक्शन पंप है ऐसा, है ना, वो हम क्या करते हैं, सिंक के मुंह पे लगा के ऐसे दबाकर उसको ऐसे खींच लेते हैं। तो उससे क्या होता है, that suction is creating a vacuum, a negative pressure, and because of its force, it pulls the drain pipe up and down, loosens it, and let the flow happen nicely. Now, this is a natural thing which is taking place in our own blood vessels, sir. If there is a blockage, or जैसे कि lipid profile हम जानते हैं, if there is increase in the LDL of a person, that person should practice Udian regularly. Low density lipoprotein is going to take ahead to creating lot of heart related issues and blockages. But if that person is regularly practicing Udian Bandha, it will help to not only mobilize that you can say cholesterol thickness in the blood, to get rightly, properly mobilized, but also help that person to save himself from any kind of blockages in the coronary arteries leading to the heart failure or whatever we call it as. So how Udian Ban is helping. लेकिन एक बात मैं और बता दूं कि the person who is already suffering from heart problem should not do it. See, we are suggesting it for a healthy person. And if a healthy person does the practice, he will never come across such kind of issues. That thing is very clear. But what about the person who is already having heart ailment and some blockages in the, then it is better he does not do it. Why? Because his retention of the breath will almost create more stress onto his system and the thing may go adverse. So it is better to avoid Udian if you are having heart ailment. But at the same time, this practice of Udian will lead you into such kind of able body or able heart that you will never experience these things in life. And Swami Kuvalananji, I know it very well, that was one of the experiments which was done in 1940s in Kaivaladham, where the Madhodas vacuum करके उन्होंने नाम दे दिया. Madhodas ji Maharaj was the Guruji of our Dr. Yogendra ji as well as Kuvalanand ji. So these both were students of Madhodas ji Maharaj from Amalner in Gujarat. And he gave the name of Madhodas ji Maharaj to that experiment. And he said, this is that vacuum which gives life to people. See the way he named it and went on to go ahead to do justice to that. So the life which was given to this sadhakas by great Guru Madhodas ji Maharaj was given due respect by their students themselves by making it happen in that way. So this is how we have to understand the subject of Udyan Bandh. But truly, this is individual Udyan Bandh. But this Udyan Bandh can be practiced in pranayam also. The one which we are doing now in pranayam, Antar Kumbhak, that is the Udyan Bandh with positive pressure. But now imagine if adding the fourth phase to your pranayam, where after doing the Rechaka, if you're retaining the breath out and doing the same practice of chin lock, abdominal lock, then now the abdominal lock is going to be with negative pressure in the Bahya Kumbhak. And the release of the bandha will be different as we do in that Antar Kumbhak. In Antar Kumbhak, how do you do? Inhale, Mool Bandh is already there. You apply chin lock, that is Jalandhar Bandha, and you apply Udyan Bandha and maintain. Imagine you have released the chin lock and went for the exhalation, that is Rechaka. And the Udyan Bandh is getting released on its own. You have to put effort in releasing Udyan and go for Rechaka. As we have read in this very book of Hatha Pradipika, where Swatmaranji says, you apply Udyan after Kumbh and before Rechaka. So that means while doing the Rechaka, the Udyan is retained, it is not released. That thing is very clear. But now, the thing which is not discussed in the book, and we are talking about the application of Udyan Bandh in Kumbhak, that is like independently doing it. So you have exhaled, you have applied chin lock, and now you are going for the pulling of the tummy in. Now this is going to be supported by the negative pressure in your chest, and your abdomen is going to get pulled in more. And when it's required that you are supposed to inhale, it is very cautiously done. Why? Because the lungs are squeezed like this, and suddenly if you try to inhale, there will be a communication between the lungs and the incoming air. So what we have to do? First, we have to release the Udyan. The moment you allow the Udyan to get released, the lungs will become like this. And then you can inhale and let the air come into the lungs. So here, this experience is very important. तो जब उड्डयन ने कर तो लिया, एक्सेल करके सांस को बाहर रोककर हमने पेट को तो अंदर खींच लिया, लेकिन जब रिलीज करने की बारी आती है तो हमको उस वक्त तक नहीं रुके रहना चाहिए जब तक सांस लेने की इच्छा हो और सडनली आपने सांस लिया। नहीं तो क्या होता है, हमने सांस को रोक कर रखा और उद्यान किया, जैसे ही आपको लगा कि अब हमको सांस लेना ही पड़ेगा नहीं तो कुछ और हो जाएगा, देन वी सडनली रिलीज द चिन लॉक, कि हम ऐसे सांस लेते हैं। दैट इज वेयर यू गो रॉन्ग, यू आर नॉट सपोज टू डू दैट। तो चिन लॉक लगाया आपने, अंदर रोक कर रखा, पहले आप क्या करो, चिन लॉक को रिलीज करो, एब्डोमेन को रिलीज करो, और फिर धीरे से सांस अंदर लो। जैसे ही आप एब्डोमेन को रिलीज करते हैं तो क्या होता है, आपका डायफ्राम नीचे आ जाता है, आपके चेस्ट का वातावरण ऐसे हो जाता है कि यू कैन नाउ एकोमोडेट एयर वेरी इजिली फ्लोइंग, देयर वोंट बी एनी काइंड ऑफ स्टॉपिंग ऑफ द एयर to not to enter into the lungs. You have created space for its entrance, and that is where we are doing the proper Uddiyana Bandha. I hope I have made it clear to you. If there is any doubt, please ask. So the Uddiyana Bandh with breath in pranayam is understood. Uddiyana Bandh independently is also understood. Uddiyana Bandh in the fourth phase of the pranayam, that is Bahya Kumbhak, even that is understood and clear. So should we go ahead now? Yes. सर्वेषाम् एव बन्धनामुत्तमो उड्डीयानकः, उड्डीयाने दृढ़े बंधे मुक्ति स्वाभाविकी भवेत्. Udyan is the best of all the bandhas. If Udyan is perfected, liberation comes naturally. Of course, liberation comes naturally because the concept of Vairagya, the mastery over Vairagya, as Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, he says, Drushtanravika Vishay Vitrushnasya Vashikara Sanya. That which brings about the total mastery on our senses, on our desires, and keeping them at bay is known as Vashikara Vairagya. And Param Vairagya, where we get rid of even the gunas, Attam Purushikyate, Gopitrishnam, which leads us into that knowledge of the self or the Purusha by getting even detached to the guna Sattva. That is Param Vairagya. Somewhere this Udyan Bandh also leads to that observation of Brahmacharya by all means, by all the senses, all the 10 senses, you will find yourself going within and helping yourself to come to that state. And once you come to that state, then verily liberation is not far away. You will certainly lead yourself into that. That is how we have to understand the things and go ahead. Next, we are coming to Moola Bandha. Now, we are applying Moola Bandha in our pranayam practice also. Yes, please. Yeah.
So, how long does it take for us, people like me, for example, at this age, to practice Udyan Bandha correctly? How long will it take?
It is not. It is the question of to practice correctly. It is the question of to practice every day. When I say you have to practice every day, correctly in the sense what I understand from your language is कि लंबे समय तक हम कब उड्डयन मेंटेन कर पाएंगे, लेकिन लंबा समय हर इंसान के हिसाब से अलग अलग है. Today, if you inhale and exhale out and go for the action of Uddiyana, maybe you are maintaining Uddiyana by maintaining breath out for 5 counts. Fine. There will be intention to release and inhale the breath in. So, with due respect to that indication, you have to relax the abdomen and inhale. So, when you start practicing this regularly, the stamina of retaining the breath out will go on improving and becoming better and better. If we practice as I am practicing Nauli Kriya, तो गुरुजी used to say, नौली क्रिया करने के लिए आपको उड्डयन आना चाहिए, और उड्डयन के अंदर कम से कम 20 से 25 काउंट तक आपको अच्छी तरह से सांसों को बाहर रोककर उड्डयन बंद मेंटेन करने आना चाहिए. The moment you maintain उड्डयन up to that level, you will find that you are doing justice to नवली क्रिया. मैं विष्णु को एक कहूंगा, आपके प्रैक्टिकल क्लास में वो आपको नवली करके बैठाए और आप लोगों से नवली करा कर भी ले. यस, हाँ बिल्कुल. Nothing big thing. Age is never an issue to learn yogic practices. In my career itself, I have to people 70 plus, and they have done better than what I do. Maybe for more dedicated than the practice. That I should accept that, because that has made them really doing it to the technique, or maybe sometimes, their life experiences, their learning from the days that they have lived have taught them the things very much better than what I have learned from the books. So their day-to-day experiences have taught them much more better. तो ये हम कब सीखेंगे, ये आप दिमाग से निकाल दीजिए. कल से प्रैक्टिस करो, you will find yourself becoming much better and better and perfect. That's what I know and understand, and I have seen with my experience of this 15 years, I should say. So nothing like that. Only thing is that you have to proceed gradually. You should never expect yourself to doing much more better at the earlier instances. Rather, go gradually. एक हफ्ते तक आप 5 गिनती तक रोक कर रखते हैं, फिर उसके अगले हफ्ते 7 से 8, उसके अगले हफ्ते 10 से 15, फिर उसके अगले हफ्ते 15 से 20. By the time you come to 20 to 25 counts of holding and retaining it out, you will find that you are already 3-month old in practicing Udyan. So when you are 3-month old in practicing Udyan, that means you have near to that perfection of 20 to 25 counts. You won't believe, I have seen people in our institute who hold Udyan for almost 3 minutes to 5 minutes. मतलब 3 से 5 मिनट तक आराम से वो सांस को बाहर कर अपने उड्डयन की स्थिति में बने रहते हैं. And if you see them, you will feel as if they are in meditation, but actually practicing उड्डयन. Now अभी साबिर भाई तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा आपको 1 मिनट तक करके दिखा सकते हैं, उससे ज्यादा करके नहीं बता पाएंगे, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं हमारे प्रैक्टिस के वो जो रेगुलर इसमें जो है ना वो कमी है. ये एक टीचरों का प्रॉब्लम है. एक इंसान टीचर बन जाता है तो टीचिंग के अंदर इतना चला जाता है कि प्रैक्टिस कहीं और रह जाती है और टीचिंग में वो आगे बढ़ जाता है. तो वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि वी वांट टू बिकम अ प्रैक्टिशनर एंड एट द सेम टाइम वी वांट टू बी अ टीचर आल्सो. Practitioner has his own discipline and teaching has its own discipline. So here two things are different, and we should always devote our time more to the practice rather than getting into the other things. And this is the problem in today's scenario. People want to become yoga teacher, but they don't want to be yoga practitioner. That is the issue there. Now, is your doubt clarified and answered?
Yeah, doubt is clarified, but right now you said that they would look as if they are in meditation. But Udyan Bandha itself looks like, from your description, it looks like meditation only.
Obviously, I agree to your point there. True. Once you are in that state, then you will find that your senses being controlled and completely mastery having over it. You are into such a state that you are out of the world. And that's what he says. That's why he is using those two beautiful words. One is Vruddhopi Tarunayate and the other one Mrityu Matanga Kesari. If you go to the deeper meaning, spiritual aspects of these words, you will understand that it is beyond the understanding of the material world. We need to go beyond and be into it. It's like that. So that is where we have got it, and we are coming to Moola Bandha. Here, the independent Moola Bandha, how to practice this, has been explained. Parsha Bhagen Sampidya Yonim Akunchayed Budam Apa Urdhvam Akrushya Moola Bandho Abhidiyate. So what is Moola Bandha? What is known as Moola Bandha? Pressing the perineum with the heel. Parshani bhagena sampidya yonim ankuchayet budam. You have to be contracting your anus muscles as well as raising it up. You have to put it in and up. So when you are pulling it in and up, it is not only anus sphincter muscles, but also the pelvic front, the region around your genitals, perineum, and this. So many a times people call this as perineal lock or people call it as anal lock. People simply say Moola Bandha, but at the same time, all are same. All are same. Adhastha Akunchana. This is the word which is you will find in many of the texts expressed. So Adhastha, that is the lower grounded part of your body, and the grounded part of your body in the sitting position is usually the anus region, and that is what is to be said as taken urdhva. Apanam urdhvam akrushya. Now apan is the vayu which is directed downward as we remove the impurities, the fecus matter, the fecal of our anus region, and purify ourselves there. So that is the vayu which is helping you to remove the things from the intestine. Now here he says, let that vayu, which is the apan vayu, be directed upward. Panam urdhvam akrushya. With your efforts, you have to pull that apan vayu upward, and then the moola bandha is said to be done properly. So apan vayu is not only the physical practice of going ahead and pulling the anus muscles in, but mentally you have to direct your nervous system to let the functioning of that region of the pelvis or the apan region to be directed upward, to be pulled upward. The prana along with apana to become urdhva, and that is where we say the kundalini gets activated and the flow goes up. And this is the same thing which has been explained in the next sloka, where it is said when apana urdhva takes place, the kundalini bodha happens. He says adho gati gatim panam apanam vai urdhvagam kurute balat akunchanen ahurya moola bandham hi yogina. By contraction of the anus, the apan vayu, of which the natural course should be downward, is forcefully directed upwards. The yogis call this as Moola Bandha. The next shloka says, Godam Parshnyatu Sampidya Yonima Akunte Dwalat Varam Varam Yatha Cha Urdhvam Samayati Samiranaha. Now the word Samiran is given here. So Samiran is usually the word used for the lower vayus or the apan vayus. So that goes up. Press the anus with the heel. One should repeatedly contract the perineum with force until the samiran goes up. Prana apano nad do moola bandena cha ekatam. Yogasya samsiddhi yachhato natra samshayah. When prana through moola bandha unites with apana and nad with bindu. See, the nad with bindu is something related to the matter aspect with the conscious aspect. So, and the nad and bindu one, the yogi attains perfection in yoga. This is undoubtedly true. As I once mentioned earlier also, in the fourth chapter of this Hatha Pratipika, in the first shloka itself, Lord Shiva has been described as the combination of these three as Nad, Bindu, and Kala. Nad is none other than the material version of that consciousness, that is Prakriti or Maya or Parvati or Kundalini. And Bindu is that light, or you can say that consciousness itself. And Kala is that process through which this Nad is becoming one with that Bindu, and you are experiencing the ultimate state of oneness with the self. So this is happening in this state where the prana through the Moola Bandha unites with Apana, that is like Nad Bindu getting united and become one to attain perfection in yoga. So this is said to be undoubtedly a very true fact happening, not the samshaya. There is no doubt about it. This is going to happen. You know, Guruji, in a very joking manner, once while explaining to Moola Bandha, he said, people who are very possessive, people who are attached to material world, people who are not able to get detached or they are not able to practice vairagya mostly find themselves constipated. Why they find themselves constipated? Because they are holding on to everything. They never allow anything to let go happen. When you are full of desires, the experience or feeling of this let go is very tough or hard to have. And movement becomes easier only when that let go feeling is there in you. That means the purification of the mind and the body is first essential to practice Mula Bandha. See the way he explained that time, I still remember those words. This has happened to me almost 10 to 15 years back during his lectures where I used to sit and listen to him in spite of being a teacher at that time also. But his lectures used to always be like a treat. And he used to say, a person who is completely embroiled or involved into the material world and running after uh, his livelihood, he may not be easily doing Moola Bandha. It may not be easily happening to such a person, the Moola Bandha. Why? Because he is not detached. This kind of attraction will happen to the person who is only detached. And when he said only detached, then at least we should learn to become detached in order to practice Moola Bandha, which will henceforth lead us into that taking the Apan Vayu up. The more you are attached to the material world, the Apan Vayu will never get Urdhva. It will be always directed downward. That's what's his explanation. And he gave reference of this from Prashna Upanishad, where all the Panchavayus have been explained very nicely along with Apana Vayu. And he said that unless and until you have controlled state of mind and body with respect to your senses, this practice of Apanavayu becoming Urdhva will be very difficult to happen. So people keep on complaining in during the practice of pranayam. सर आप बार बार बोलते रहते हैं मूल बंद लगाओ, लेकिन मूल बंद हम लगाते तो है, वो रहता नहीं है. आप साबिर भाई कैसे बोलेंगे कि वो क्यों नहीं रहता? साबिर भाई यही जानते हैं कि तुम दुनियादारी से इतने अटैच्ड हो तो वो होना मुश्किल है, लेकिन कोशिश करते रहो. तो कोशिश करते रहो जब वो कहते हैं तो गुरु का एक शब्द और याद आता है कि मूल बंद करते रहने से वो याद नहीं रहता है तो छूट जाता है, वो बात अलग है. लेकिन आपके दिमाग में मूल बंद लगाना ये दिमाग में रहता है, तो बिलीव मी वन डे इट विल टेक यू टुवर्ड्स डिटैचमेंट ऑल्सो. So both is it is effective. First of all, it is not happening, but somehow with force also, if you are doing it with force in the sense with the preparation of the mind, not forcibly doing it with the muscles. So when you are doing it with the preparation of the mind, you will find that a kind of let go attitude will slowly come into you, and slowly you will start becoming detached to the other things, and Mool Bandh starts happening to become better and better. So this is how we have to understand the concept of Moola Bandha and keep practicing it regularly. Who should not do the practice? Coming to you, sir. Who should not do the practice? People who are already suffering from severe constipation should avoid, because it will worsen their problem. Second thing, people who are having issues like piles, fistula, even they should avoid, they should not do the practice. People who are having a disturbed state of mind, state of function of the body, or especially digestive system, it is better to avoid, because now that their vayu is not functioning properly, if they go for Moola Bandha, it may worsen the problem. So it is better at that time one should not do Moola Bandha. Without Moola Bandha, also a person can go ahead and bring about natural discipline of their breaths. No problem with that. But here in this case, if anybody is suffering, they should not do. Of course, Moola Bandha will increase the heat in the body. If you see the next slokas, they are making us understand how it is going to produce heat in the body and help us to overcome uh, the other imbalances related to the Agni getting prajulit in our body. Ashutosh sir, you wanted to say something.
Here it is mentioned, and you explained Nada Bindu. So does it mean that while doing Mula Bandha, we have to focus on Nada and Bindu? Do we have to
No,
meditate on Nada Bindu?
no, no, no. When you are doing Moola Bandha, let your attention be on the Moola only. And you are focusing with your breaths as you're retaining the Moolband. Because if you are a novice in the practice of Moolband, as you inhale and exhale, this inhalation, exhalation itself, with exhalation, you will find that you are losing the grip of the Moolaband. So, initially, as a student, a novice student or a beginner, we should always apply Moolabandha and be with our breaths, that while exhaling, also our Moolabandha is not getting released. That is one thing. Now, just now I told you about inhalation and exhalation, and I was connecting you the Nad and Bindu as two factors of matter and consciousness, or you can say material and spirituality. Now here, inhalation, exhalation is also Nad and Bindu. If you go to other Hatha Yogic texts, Swara Yoga, you will find that every inhalation is connected with Nad and every exhalation is going to connect you with Bindu. Now here, Nad is the sound which is keeping you in contact with the material world. Even if you are getting detached, still you are into that nada which is connecting you to your internal world, that is internalization. And Hindu is always to be that spiritual aspect, and it wants to become one. The nada wants to become one with the bindu. So here, this aspect should be very clear. You are not focusing on anything else, but you are focusing here only on Mool Bandha and connecting it to your breaths, where normal breathing itself helps you to retain that Bandha while exhaling also and go on performing it in a proper way, rather than going more deeper into Nad and Bindu. But sir, I would second your point. A time will certainly come where Moolband is there without your effort. Effortlessly it will happen, and you will be in the connection with Nad and Bindu. That time you can say that I am connected and meditating on the Nad Bindu. But when that time will come, God knows. It is only going to come to us with effort and sadhana, nothing else. So I hope I connected to your point. Yes. Okay. The next slok says Apana Prana Yorekyam Shayo Mutra Purushayoho. See how with this practice of Mool Bandha, the urine as well as the fecal matter is getting reduced and completely diminishing. Yuva bhavati vruddho api satatam moola bandhanat. And as this apana meets prana regularly with the practice, you will find that even old is becoming young. Now, the same thing of Udyan Bandh is repeated here to make us understand how you are retaining your vitality, you are retaining your ability to become more and more apt in your practice and going ahead. Young with the body doesn't matter. You will have ample space of time to go ahead and become one with the self. ऊर्ध्वगे जाते प्रयाति वहनि मंडलम तदा अनल शिखा दीर्घा जायते वायुन ahahata. When the apana rises up and reaches the spear of Vahani. Now, where is the spear of Vahani? It is in the navel region. Then fanned by the Vayu. Which Vayu? Samana Vayu. That means urge to digest the changes taking place in the abdominal region. This is like, Saman Vayu acting upon the prana and apan. So what will happen because of that? The flames of fire blaze up. Which fire? The fire of, you can say, spirituality, which is eventually going to stimulate the kundalini only, because it is going to melt the phlegmatic secretions which are holding on to the kundalini in that coiled state and in supta avastha. So here This is like a kind of description about of what is the effect wherein the apana is rising along the back to the navel region, and blazing fire signifies the kind of richness of the sensation which comes to us, particularly with the intensity of that heat. And this heat to experience is within, with respect to the awakening of the Kundalini only. And that is the reason that he writes down in the next shloka, where it says, Tato yato vahanya apano pranam ushna swarupakam tena atyanta pradiptastu jalano dehas tata. Then with the rising upon the resulting heat reach the prana. Now prana is in the chest. So the apana with that heat reaches to the prana region, which itself is always going to be warm. The fire or the warmth of the body is intensified tremendously. That means the heat in the body is going to become more and more profound. And when this happens, the next 67th shloka, he says, Tena kundalini supta santapta samprabudyate dandahata bhujangiva nihashwasya rujutam rajet. By this, the sleeping kundalini is activated and awakened and straightens up as the serpent, as the she serpent, with a hiss when beaten by the stick. So this heat is, as I told you earlier also, this heat is making us to experience this kundalini becoming released, becoming activated, and then flowing upward. Become praveshteva. See the kind of synonyms and the analogy used here, because we are understanding the kundalini shakti as a she serpent, and now the path is open and it is traveling through it. So how is the path is called here as Bila. Bila means the passage. Bilam pravishteva tato brahma nadyantaram vratet tasman nitya moola bandha tavyo yogi bihi sada. And then, just as the Kundalini Shakti enters into the Bila, that is the hole or the passage, the Kundalini is actually entering into the Brahma Nadi, the Sushumna Nadi. Hence, the yogis should always Moola Bandha, so that you are facilitating the movement of the Kundalini into the Sushumna Nadi. I, like a immature student, asked my teacher, Parab sir, one day, and asked him, Sir, when you say and explain these things, we are also practicing Yama and we are practicing since so many years now, but we never experienced such kind of heat in our body and going ahead. So he gave a very beautiful answer. Sabir, are you practicing all those things which were advised to you in order to practice pranayam? I said, what do you mean by that? He said, in the first chapter, it was told to you that you should be getting rid of everything connected with the material life and go away from the city kind of life and stay from Shila, Agni, Jal, Vivarjita. Are you doing that? I said, no, I am not doing it. Are you experiencing brahmacharya? I said, no. Are you doing mitahar? No, sir, not really. Half-heartedly, I said. Are you doing tyaga? Oh, yes, even that is not happening. So when brahmacharya, mitahara, and tyaga is not happening, how you will get into that yoga parayana? You will never get into it. So when you're not getting into it, how you are expecting yourself to practice all these things and get the experience of the same? If it is the vessel which you want to fill with the nectar of spirituality, so first you have to empty the vessel to let that thing fill in it. Na? So what is there in it? First you empty it. then only you will be able to experience what is the nectar of the spirituality. If you're talking about that that heat, if you want to experience that heat, then first empty what is there in it. So when you empty that, then only you will be able to experience the which is entering into it. And this is the beauty of Kundalini Yoga, clear to us. If you want to practice Hatha Yoga or Kundalini Yoga, you need to purify yourself. Purification is the ultimate requirement of the practice of yoga. He says, he is clearly mentioning us that deal will be able to open up only when you are purified. If your nadis are purified, then you have to carry out many other activities like Shatkarma. You have to carry out the practices of Nadi Shodhan and various other pranayam in order to bring about that kind of purification. Then only you will be able to experience this. So this is how the Moola Bandha explained. This 10 shloka of Moola Bandha really makes us understand the importance of the same. In Gheranda Samhita, there are only 2 shlokas explaining the Moola Bandha, and it's taken to the granted that the Guru will take all the headache of explaining it to the student of how to have the approach towards the practice of Moola Bandha and get along with it with the other practices in combination. So, any question in your mind? Any sharing or addition to the subject?
Mool Bandha is also, does it have a thing of, being practiced with the breath in or breath out?
Yeah. In fact, you can keep your breathing normal and still be into Moola Bandha. Only thing is that, in the sense, in fact, it is good thing when you practice Moola Bandha and keep breathing naturally, normally, your breathing automatically become pranayamic breathing. It will become a disciplined breathing because there is a control already on the flow of the breath and the movement of the diaphragm and the expansion of the chest because of the Mool Bandha you applied. That is the change a new beginner coming into yoga can always experience because of Moola Bandha. Is that getting your point clear?
Yeah. So, but the expansion of the chest is, as in the case of Udyan Bandh, is that also applicable for Moola Bandha too? Will it make it easier?
When you say you are breathing in, so air is filling into your lungs. That is where your lungs are getting expanded. In Udyan Bandh, we are exhaling and trying to expand the chest literally, forcibly. So when you do that literally as a conscious effort, the volume is increased with no air in that creates the vacuum and the pulling of the abdomen happens. During that pull, even Moola Bandha is automatically happening in Uddiyana. But in case of Moola Bandha here, we, as the teachers teach, they say it is better to practice Moola Bandha with focused state of mind by keeping your breathing normally going on peacefully. You neither hold it in or hold it out. In pranayama, it is happening, that is a different thing altogether. This is how you have to do it. Okay. Independently, when you are practicing, there is no discipline as such. You have to hold the breath in or hold the breath out. You have to keep breathing and retain the Moola Bandha happening there. Okay. I should share this with you. Jai Kumar may be knowing because he is having that varied experience of learning it from the Ashtanga school or the Vinyasa school. These people, when they teach even the asana, see, there is no mention applying Uddiyana Bandha or Moola Bandha or Jalandhar Bandha while doing the practice of asana. But in that Ashtanga school, as you do the asanas, in certain asanas make you to practice Moola Bandha, and when I tried doing that practicing, it really helps to gain wonderful results. But at the same time, the caution always prevail. The new should not practice Mula Bandha immediately. He should or she should take her own time to get into the practice of the asanas with or along with Mula Bandha. So there are certain postures. Suppose if you are practicing forward bending and if you do Mula Bandha, the contractions and the stretch on your glutes and your hamstrings is a renewed one. It is much more better. Imagine practicing Mula Bandha in Paschimottanasana and you will find that it is helping you to gain more stretch and more internal changes in your abdominal cavity because of that Mula Bandha. So these things you find in any of the yogic texts, but these are the contemporary teachers like the great Patari Joyce, or you can say their teacher Tirumal Krishnamacharya ji, who made these things for them and they were practicing. Jay Kumar, you wanted to share something?
Yeah. While doing Paschimottanasana, you have to squeeze your inner muscles, and at the same, if you squeeze your testes inside, you'll get more result.
Yeah,
More result.
true, and I have experienced it.
You don't need to go more forward. You don't need to go more forward if you are not flexible. But at the same time, if you can pull it inside, then result will be,
Yeah. And
different.
see, many times, as now Jaykumar has also seconded that, because I knew he has done the practices, learned the practices from this kind of schools. So he may be knowing it. But I never learned it from any such school. In Kaivalyadam, it was never advocated, or even in, as far as I know about the Yoga Institute, even there also practice of Mula Bandha during asana is never advocated. So these things I'm very aware of. So never learned it. But when I started practicing, I realized that. And therapeutically, such kind of approaches are very helpful in certain cases, but not all. So a person should go deeper into this understanding and then start bringing it into application, and it will really help. It really helps people who are 40 plus or 45 plus. For them, it is really very helpful because these are the people who come across the problems related to prostrate. The prostrate getting prolapsing down and creating a blockage between the channels of the urinary tract and the channels of the testis related to the expulsion. So there, the prostate may not be functioning properly. And when you do such kind of practices in the asanas with forward bends, it really helps. I have seen their pelvic floor becoming strengthened. And this has given good results with the female part, because this, if a female is going through multiple deliveries or maybe cesarean things and their abdomen or the pelvic region have got loosened up, if you are practicing with Mula Bandha, the practices like forward bend, as just now suggested, Paschimottanasana, you will find that your organs are getting relocated in their original position and such kind of changes can be observed. So this is a therapeutical observation, but it should not be given directly in the first instance itself. First, the body should be prepared with Sukshma Vyayam and other practices, and then one should go after 3 months to 6 months of regular practice, one should go and apply these practices in the routine. That is how the things become better. So I hope this is an additional thing which is not there in the text, but since we are all more interested in the practical approach of the same, we have gone into that and understood it. Okay? So now, friends, let us go into the next bandha, and that is Jalandhara bandha. Before going ahead, is there any question in your mind?
So are there, sorry,
Yeah.
are the bandhas basically there only these three kind of bandha, or there are actually more than that, but these are primary bandha?
These are the primary and these are the most important ones. There is Mahabandha, which we have already studied. That is again the combination of these three only. So these are the three very primary, very basic, and very important, in fact, most important bandhas to be practiced by a general layman to improve upon his health aspects. हम कुंडलिनी की बात यहाँ नहीं कर रहे, but at least to improve the physical health aspect of an individual, these practices are really wonderful practices. Okay.
One more thing. I see now in Mulabandha, we are saying we are trying to basically reverse the flow of Apan Vayu. Right? And now, while yes, it is mentioned in the text also, and which we generally know, that yogis have a very, very keen sense of digestion. So that whatever they eat, they absolutely digest most of it, and very little is kind of given out for as urine or feces, etc. But yet, till such time you reach that stage, till such time as the Agni, the digestive fire, becomes so strong, you do need to kind of expel out the body waste to the extent possible. And so Ayurveda, for example, says that the root of most diseases lies in the stomach or the intestine, because the impurities are not excreted. So we understand this state, like prior to the application of bandha, we release all that we can in a healthy way so that the body remains pure. It's a purificatory thing. And at the other end, when the digestive fire has become very strong, then you apply, you raise the apan instead of letting it down, and then the merging of the two, Saman, will lead to all the wonderful changes. But what happens in the interim period? Will that not, be a reverse? I mean, what should have been expelled is not getting expelled.
No.
So will it not create?
No, if already that person is experiencing constipation, it will trouble that person. But if that person is very normal with the defecation or the removal of the toxins from the body or the toxic matter from the intestine, in fact, practice of Moola Bandha will help the peristalsis movement of the intestine much more better to remove the toxins out.
Okay.
Even that has been observed. I forgot to say that. Thanks to you that you asked this question. I should be very clear with this. Okay, if you are not affected by any imbalance in that region, everything is going on very normally, then believe me, Mool Bandh is going to second the process of purification. It's going to remove the toxins whichever is getting accumulated in that sigmoid colon or rectum, and it will help you to defecate it and cleanse it to the best of the abilities of yours. So in that interim period, you are saying this, believe me, it is going to help you to remove the things, but not to go the other way or make you vulnerable. This is how we have to understand. But something has been observed that people do not practice Moola Bandha in a proper technical manner as it is advised. If suppose this is the anal sphincter muscles and this is the region of your anus region, if you are applying Moola Bandha, you have to contract only this much. If you are contracting this much, Moola Bandha is applied, and you should train your mind and your nervous system, the whole body, only for this much contraction. But many a times, people who are normal like this, when they apply Moola Bandha, they apply Moola Bandha to this level. Now that is where things go wrong. That is where things go wrong. So Moola Bandha literally means, see, already the sphincter muscles are naturally prepared in such a way that even if you are feeling the urge of going to the toilet and defecating in urgency also, our sphincter muscles are with mind control to hold it, so that जैसे समझो आप ट्रेन में हैं, आप लोकल मुंबई के लोकल ट्रेन में हैं, वहां तो कोई सुविधा नहीं है आपको टॉयलेट जाने की, या तो स्टेशन पे उतर जाओ. How do you retain that defecation urge? By holding it and tightening your sphincter muscles. So already our body has that ability of going through the functions of this. But the moment you reach the toilet and you let it out, the things become clear. Now here we have to understand that this is, we call it in our Ayurveda as various type of Vega. we should not disturb this Vega intentionally. If you are disturbing the Vega intentionally, you will find yourself troubling yourself more rather than going. The urges, the Vega, if you are feeling like sneezing, better cover your face and sneeze it out properly. But some people try to curb it so that the class doesn't get disturbed, and they try to control their sneeze, which is wrong. Which is wrong. I have many a times gone to my students and told them, see, you controlled your sneezing. I understand you did not wanted the class to get disturbed, but if you feel so, you should get up, you should go out, sneeze nicely and come in again. बोले सर तब रुकेगा क्या? कोशिश तो करो. If you find yourself, you will be able to. Otherwise, don't stop it. Let the class get disturbed. I said that day. Let the class disturb. Everybody understand. This is a natural Vega which is taking place. Even farting, when we are together, we try to control our fart and do not let it happen in the community gathering. People, log sunenge to kya kya? They will talk about mannerism and all. But for information, if that urge of gas is there to pass out, you should create a suitable environment for you to go out of the space and get it done. Do not curb it inside and hold it inside, because that is going to cause a lot of other problems. Even your blood pressure changes because of that. The pressure on the heart comes in. Pulse of your venous nervous system, venous circulatory, this blood system gets disturbed because of such kind of, वेग के against में काम करना. So please, as you raise that point, it is vital and important point for all of us to know and get along with that. Hope that thing has cleared. Jalandhar Bandh हम next class में ये कोई problem नहीं, but these things have helped us to connect easily and get along with it. Things to be shared and connected by other people. Mahendra has also joined. So, sir, you would like to share anything with your practice and all? Please go ahead.
Right now, not Shabir Bhai. Let me go through, your techniques are slightly different than what we have been doing. And we are really
Okay.
enjoying that. And we are really enjoying that, getting closer to the concept that you give and experiencing the same in the practical classes. So let us work on that. I think that would be, it would not be appropriate time to comment on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णम् आदाय पूर्णम् एव अवशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. So, thank you, everybody. And so now, for the next 15 minutes, it's over to Mahendraji for the experience sharing with relating to last week.
Good morning once again, and welcome to the new session, pre-session, the zero session. This particular time is supposed to be utilized for only for the experience-based gains during the last 1 week. I would like everybody to share how this has helped in achieving their lifestyle or making their lifestyle better. The practices, any other experience that has led to the betterment of their life may also be shared by everyone. In the last 5 minutes, Asutosh sir has raised a question about something like office yoga. He has left a paragraph on our WhatsApp group. We may discuss 3-4 minutes in the second half of the session. So anybody would like to begin on the or share his experience from the last Sunday to today's morning?
So for me, the last week was a bit checkered, and I am constantly keeping in mind Sabir Bhai's caution that look, if Hatha Yoga is not done properly, it may lead to worsening of health rather than improvement. And so it's a pattern that I've seen over the last 3-4 weeks, that or maybe more, that by Saturday, I begin to feel a little tired. Because maybe most of the days I also do some practice in the evenings, so maybe that has my physiology may not be so used to doing intensive twice a day. So but why do I do it? Simply because it makes me feel very good. Otherwise, so I think the effect continues to be that of lightening. But I think personally I would need to be a little cautious in terms of making sure I listen to my body.
Very nice, Sunil Bhai. In fact, that today was an off day so far as the morning session is concerned. And today I was feeling little discomfort by not doing it. So ultimately, late. I started at 6, but I continued, and I think I felt better. I felt better doing it now. Request Shabir Bhai to throw some light on what are the impediments. Why do we feel, or why do we have such a feeling? Shabir Bhai there?
Sir, very nice said in Bhagavad Gita, in 4th chapter itself, ki your nature, sattva, raja, tama, plays its role with your past impressions. So many a times these impediments are there inborn, and they will be always going to prevent you from doing what you want to. But the best thing is that here at our Vivek Buddhi, we are keeping it that these impediments are always going there. Let me keep on working on it with some adjustments. So you making an adjustments and doing the practice continuously, that itself proves that these impediments are taken care of. So this is how I should go ahead and say, sir, me being a teacher for last 15 years, being actively into the public, and going for my own practice 3 to 4 years earlier to that, I have learned it hard way. And I know it, okay, even if you say that I am having so much experience of teaching and practicing, still today I find that I need to learn a lot. I need to bring a lot of changes into me. And the thing is, these impediments itself, even I am going through sometimes the lethargicness, sometimes the other things which say कि अब इतनी ठंडी है ना, ये ठंडी हम मुंबई वालों को कभी नसीब नहीं होती है, ओढ़ के सो जाओ, एक दिन मिस कर दें तो क्या होगा? No problem with that. And once in a while I do that, which you are not supposed to. But still it happens with me also. Even today it happens. आज जाने दो, आज practice नहीं करते हैं. Let me miss it today. बात और है कि क्लास करने के लिए साबिर भाई उठ जाते हैं और क्लास उनका शुरू होता है 6:30 को, लेकिन वो 6:30 से पहले यानी 6:45 जो क्लास शुरू होता है उसके पहले फिर उनके दिमाग में एक ही बात रहती है कि जो 5:30 को तो प्रैक्टिस शुरू करनी थी वो तो हमने की नहीं, वो तो ऐसे ही छोड़ दिया. तो somewhere that thing as a discipline is yet to come, and still it happens means that it is our nature which is slowly getting converted from you can say from inertia from activeness to rhythmic flow, and this rhythmic flow is going to take us to Satvikta. So somewhere that is there in all of us, and it will happen one day.
So in a nutshell, Shabir Bhai, the term Sattam has been used today in today's session of Bhagavad Gita. I think that is Sattam is required. The time the time when we are losing such an effort becomes a crucial time. Can we handle that moment? Now, if that moment is handled, I think the possibility of Satatam or continuity may be handled in a comparatively better way. So the practices should result into the habit. The practice is converted to the habit, so that not doing that practice gives you the otherwise experience. Anyway, that was a good sharing, Sunilji, Shabir Bhai, good guidance. Any other experience on any line during the week? Anybody?
Yeah. So on Friday night, I had eaten some oily stuff, and that kept bothering me throughout the night. And when I got up on Saturday, I was with this same thought. I should give it a day, and I should not go for the class. That was a thought in my mind. But as usual, I got up at 5, and as Mahendra ji was saying, that moment was there. But at that moment, I decided that, no, I will join the class. And I joined the class, and I felt good. And I was hoping that, that burning sensation which was there in the chest because of the oily stuff that I had eaten, it will go away after the practice. I'm hoping that way. If it didn't go, then I will have a lot of botheration. That's what I was thinking. But fortunately, as the class progressed, that feeling went out, and I felt much better. And I felt good that I had not bunked the class.
So the crossing over the moment of inertia made you better. Ashutosh ji, can you hear? I think you are mute.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
So that means your experience was that the noticing the point or the cutoff point of inertia and overcoming that helped you in the towards direction of the higher goals.
Right.
Any other comments, Asha ji? Asha ji?
Yes.
Yes.
Morning practices, I'm the one who bunks the most. But
No, you are not. No. It's not that.
In the group, there are many other things which I hold on to, come what may. My life is such that I can't adhere to rules in every area. But there are some things I hold on to, come what may. So at least, it doesn't happen that I'm giving up everything. So there are days when I'm unable to attend because of certain things at home and sleeping late or other reasons. There are some practices which I hold on to 365 days of the year. So in that, I don't let go. So at least I think if we have certain things which are always there, something simple, it would help, because in some way or the other, the mind has to be held in control. So that is what is my thinking.
So in life, there are external factors also acting.
Yeah.
They also help or not help in your managing your life.
Yeah.
The question is, Abhi, right now I left the class for 1 hour. I carried my mobile so that I could be connected to the net and I could not miss the call of the class of Shabir Bhai. The whole way, all the drive way, the call could not be connected. So despite whenever you make your the best effort, you're going to fail there. This is also destiny. This is also the external factor that is it has taken charge over. But still, my identity should be maintained. Why I should be disturbed? If it was not desired by some external forces, I missed the class, I know. But anyway, making effort.
But sir, I think one should not allow these kind of feelings to come, guilt or anything. I think
No. That should not be. Never.
there's
Yes.
total acceptance. Okay, this is it. This much I can do. There is a,
And that's it. That's cutoff point. That's gone.
yeah.
It's over. The chapter is over then. It should not reflect again and get disturb again.
Yeah.
Is Jayakumar there?
So according to me, everything is good. As far as the practice took me to the next level, I haven't practiced this bandhas before, and like detailed way, during the pranayama, we just when we hold the breath, we just practice it as bandhas. Otherwise, I haven't practiced this bandhas because my teacher told me you need a good practice in good practice in asanas. Only you have to practice with bandhas. So I haven't practiced this before. So now, so I can experience, how to express. I don't know. So, but I feel some difficulties in the beginning, but still I'm feeling. But I hope in the coming weeks it will change, and we'll learn more things.
I think it's already 12. If I'm not sharing my experience, of course, paucity of time is there. But if you all permit, I will take a couple of minutes in sharing what Ashutosh Bhai has raised. It's the last week. And he says the terms work is something different. Nowadays, terms like office yoga has come. Now, what this office yoga is, he says that it implies as if how do you manage your stress for a long working hours. Is it that? Number one, he wants a clarification. To the contrary, if we adopt the yogic way of life in the office with, it becomes a contrary system and contradicts, of course, with the functioning of the office. How we look into it, and any views, if anybody could suggest on this. I don't know if I am right, Ashutosh sir.
Was that yoga is being used as a coping mechanism, whereas
Yes.
what we are trying to do is we are trying to look at yoga as a way of life. That means we give a certain importance and a certain importance to other activities. So we have a balance. We necessarily go on overworking ourselves.
Yes.
So that success and at work itself is the main thing in life. In that case, we run after that illusion, and then we create stress, and then we use yoga to reduce the stress. Actually, we don't use yoga. We use some of the practices. We call them office yoga. So I find this very strange. That's what I meant.
I'm not able to conclude on this topic particular, whatever you have raised, sir. I request all of you to give a thought again. This is an important topic, this is a everyday office work, sometimes it stretches from 8 to 8 or maybe more. Now in the work from home system, there's no time now. Now this type of lifestyle when we are leading, how to handle and how to impart our yogic system into such a way of life is an important area to be discussed. I will request everybody to give a thought on it. And he has raised a very important, very right question related to our life. So let us discuss on the next Sunday.